Welcome to Fiber Guide, your trusted optical network training and consulting partner. How do network operators increase the capacity of an existing fiber optic cable by 10, 50, or even 100 times without laying a single new fiber? The answer is wavelength division multiplexing, or WDM. By transmitting multiple colors, or more accurately, multiple wavelengths of light through a single strand of optical fiber at the same time, WDM dramatically increases the amount of data that fiber can carry. Today, WDM comes in several forms, including CWDM, DWDM, LAN WDM, shortwave WDM, bidirectional WDM, and Flexgrid WDM. In this video, I will focus on the two technologies you will most likely encounter in telecommunications, CWDM and DWDM. I will compare them in terms of channel spacing, capacity, transmission distance, applications, and cost. Let's begin with Coarse Wavelength Division Multiplexing, CWDM. The word coarse tells you almost everything you need to know. The wavelengths are spaced 20 nanometers apart, making the system relatively simple and inexpensive. The ITU-T CWDM standard defines 18 wavelengths, ranging from 1271 nanometers to 1611 nanometers. Historically, however, older single-mode fibers such as ITU-T G652.A and G652.B suffered from high attenuation around 1383 nanometers, an effect known as the water peak. As a result, only 16 of the 18 wavelengths could be used reliably. Fortunately, nearly all modern standard single-mode fiber is G652.D low water peak fiber, eliminating this limitation and allowing all 18 CWDM wavelengths to be deployed. Even so, many commercial CWDM systems use just 8 wavelengths, typically from 1471 nanometers to 1611 nanometers, where fiber attenuation is relatively low. In which applications is CWDM used? CWDM is commonly deployed in enterprise campus networks, metropolitan access networks, fiber to the X or FTTX networks, cable television networks, data center connectivity. Typical transmission distances are up to about 40 kilometers. Two reasons for this limitation are that loss is high at shorter wavelength, and practical optical amplifiers are not available across the entire CWDM spectrum. CWDM transmission distances can be extended to 80 kilometers, particularly in 8-channel systems operating over relatively low-loss wavelength bands. Why is CWDM so affordable? The biggest advantage of CWDM is cost. Because adjacent wavelengths are separated by a generous 20 nanometers, the lasers inside CWDM transceivers do not need to be extremely precise. They typically use uncooled lasers, meaning they don't require expensive thermoelectric coolers to maintain an exact wavelength. Even if the wavelength drifts slightly with temperature, it remains safely inside its allocated channel. This significantly reduces transceiver cost. So what happens when 18 wavelengths aren't enough? That's where Dense Wavelength Division Multiplexing, or DWDM, comes in. Instead of spreading wavelengths across a very wide spectrum, DWDM packs them extremely close together to maximize fiber capacity. Most DWDM systems operate primarily in the C-band, from approximately 1530 to 1565 nanometers, although many modern CWDM systems also extend into the L-band, from 1565 to 1625 nanometers. But why the C-band? There are two key reasons. First, fiber attenuation is extremely low in this region. Second, erbium-doped fiber amplifiers, or EDFAs, operate most efficiently in the C-band, allowing optical signals to travel up to thousands of kilometers without first being converted back into electrical signals. L-band EDFAs also exist, but they require different amplifier designs and generally provide lower gain than C-band EDFAs. DWDM channels are defined by frequency spacing rather than wavelength spacing. Historically, the most widely deployed channel spacings have been 100 GHz, corresponding to approximately 0.8 nanometers, 50 GHz, corresponding to approximately 0.4 nanometers. A traditional C-band system supports approximately 40 channels at 100 GHz spacing or 88 channels at 50 GHz spacing. Modern optical systems push capacity even further. Using the extended C-band, operators can typically deploy around 96 channels at 50 GHz spacing. The latest Super C-band systems can support up to 120 channels. Modern coherent optical networks are moving beyond fixed channel spacing altogether. The ITU-T Flexgrid standard divides the optical spectrum into 12.5 GHz frequency slots, allowing each wavelength to occupy exactly the amount of spectrum it needs. The premium cost of precision. Packing wavelengths so closely together comes at a price. DWDM transceivers require extremely stable lasers that are actively temperature-controlled using thermoelectric coolers to prevent wavelength drift into adjacent channels. As a result, DWDM equipment is more expensive than CWDM. However, because DWDM can transport terabits per second over a single fiber pair, the cost per transmitted bit becomes significantly lower in high-capacity networks. Where is DWDM used? DWDM forms the backbone of today's global telecommunications infrastructure. It is widely deployed in long-haul terrestrial networks or national backbone networks, high-density metropolitan core networks, data center interconnect, DCI, international submarine cable systems. Because DWDM operates efficiently with EDFAs, signals can travel thousands of kilometers before regeneration is required, making it the preferred technology for connecting cities, countries, and continents. In summary, here is the key takeaway. Choose CWDM if your priorities are simplicity, affordability, and transmission distances of up to roughly 40 kilometers. Choose DWDM if you need maximum capacity, ultra-long transmission distances, and the lowest cost per transmitted gigabit at scale. Both technologies use multiple wavelengths to increase fiber capacity, but they are designed for very different network requirements. If you would like to master CWDM, DWDM, coherent optics, modern optical transport networks, and other topics in optical networking, explore FiberGuide's professional optical networking courses from OTT. Click the link below to explore the OTT optical network training programs. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your colleagues, and subscribe to FiberGuide for more in-depth videos on optical communications and networking. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.